This happened at my 26-year-old husband's sister, 31-year-old. She got married last week. Please don't think of this as bragging. I have always been considered physically pretty. People have always told me that. It has its perks and its cons. I had a hard time because of this when I was at school, because let's say that I was a stereotypical cheerleader. My point with this is that often other people either only paid attention to me because of my appearance, or they thought everything I did was against them. This was a big issue amongst girls, which I think might have something to do with this as well. So, the conflict. My husband and I got invited to the wedding. It was at a very fancy location, truly a very beautiful wedding. So I decided to dress up a little bit. I had a baby 3 months ago. I wore a dress with cleavage. When her and her husband were busy catching up with friends, some family members came and complimented my outfit with the always so necessary comment about how good I look because I've lost most of my baby weight. You know how much people like to talk about that. Then the other incident was because we didn't bring our baby with us to the wedding. One of my friends was babysitting for us since she lives nearby. He only breastfeeds, so she had to drive him twice so I could feed him. The first time was when they were giving speeches, so I went to the car, breastfed him, and she left. Then the second time, some people wanted to see the baby, so as we were outside, because of the music, some of our family came to greet my baby. The thing is that my other sister-in-law posted photos of the wedding. She posted one of me and her, which said, "with the prettiest doll," because she calls me Barbie sometimes. My sister-in-law thought that was very nasty. She posted on Instagram saying that, no matter what, some people always want to shine brighter than others and steal the spotlight, even on special occasions. I saw that and I sent her a text, like, "Hey, is everything okay?" She didn't answer that day, but the next saying that I can't possibly be this tone deaf and that the post was about me. I was like, what? And she said that because people were posting and talking about how pretty I looked at her wedding, how good I look, how lucky my husband is, how pretty my baby is. You get the idea. I told her, sorry, but I don't really see how that has anything to do with me. She said that I'm doing this on purpose, and to back up her argument, she said that in the photo I posted, people were commenting on that kind of stuff. She insists that I wanted to outshine her by basically looking prettier and having people coo at my baby. So I think this just might be that female competition, because I've seen it other times. It wouldn't be weird to me if she thought that me dressing up or losing weight was something I've done to purposely harm her, because it has happened to me before. But I don't want to be too harsh, and I want to give the benefit of the doubt, because maybe I was wrong. Edit. As I see, this is a recurrent question. I can't pump and leave a bottle for my baby because he doesn't want it. He would rather go hungry than drinking from the bottle, so that's not an option. We weren't discussing my looks all night. We discussed the wedding/bride and many other topics as well. Work, family, their trips, etc. I didn't announce that my baby was outside. My baby was invited, but my husband and I decided to leave him with a friend. It wasn't a child-free wedding. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You're the idiot, kind of. So, do you like or dislike the attention you receive? I ask because during the wedding, it seems like you are leaning into all the extra attention you received. You were tone deaf if you thought that this attention-craving behavior was okay. Someone who wasn't tone deaf would have deflected the attention back to the bride, also known as the actual focus of the wedding. You should have never acquiesced to people demanding to see your baby. Weddings are not exactly the most sanitary events, so why, other than attention, would you want a bunch of people seeing your child? I just don't understand the behavior. That's why I don't think you're an AH. What I do understand is the reaction that others had to your behavior. You went to a wedding with a chip on your shoulder in the form of being a competitive woman. Overall, not a great look if you're trying to appear humble. I don't think you're trying to appear humble. And that's the problem. As soon as you make the choice to show off your baby, everyone's reaction to your other behavior makes sense. Comment 2. I just don't believe that people were going out of their way to say how gorgeous you were at the wedding after the fact. You're just kind of into yourself. but you are completely TA for bringing the baby at any point. You knew that would take the spotlight. You should have been the one to leave, not go or pump. That made you TA. Overall, though, you have an air of, I'm just naturally better and prettier than her, so of course I'm talked about. You can't control others, but it sounds like you didn't take any steps to mitigate what was happening. It was rude AF for people to leave to look at your baby. It isn't that special. Also, clearly you made a big deal of it for people to even know why you left. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a month since my last post about the wedding drama. And boy, do I have an update for you all. So, after the whole Instagram fiasco with my sister-in-law, things took a turn for the steamy and confrontational. First off, let me give you a bit of history on my sister-in-law. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah has always been the type to want the spotlight. I remember at my own wedding, she wore this flashy red dress that had everyone talking. It's just her nature, I guess. So, when she accused me of trying to steal her thunder at her wedding, I was taken aback, but also a bit understanding of where she might be coming from. Now, onto the juicy updates. A week after the wedding, my husband's family had a get-together. It was supposed to be a casual barbecue, but tensions were high. Sarah had been cold to me since the wedding, and I could feel her eyes on me the whole time. I wore a simple sundress, nothing fancy, just to avoid any more drama. Halfway through the barbecue, Sarah's husband, who we'll call Mike, pulled me aside. Now, Mike and I have always been friendly. He's a charming guy, and we've gotten along well. But this time, he was a bit too friendly. He complimented me on how I looked at the wedding, and, in a low voice, said he couldn't stop thinking about it. I was shocked and immediately uncomfortable. I told him that was inappropriate and made my way back to the crowd. I thought that was the end of it, but nope. Sarah saw us talking and stormed over, accusing me of flirting with her husband. It was a full-blown scene. My husband stepped in, and there was a heated argument between him and Mike. I tried to explain that Mike was the one who approached me, but Sarah wasn't having any of it. The next day, Sarah sent me a long text, apologizing for the misunderstanding. She admitted that she had been feeling insecure since the wedding, and that seeing Mike talk to me just set her off. She also confessed that she had been dealing with some jealousy issues, especially since I had lost my baby weight so quickly. But wait, there's more. Remember how I mentioned that my baby was invited to the wedding, but we decided to leave him with a friend? Well, turns out, Sarah was actually upset that we didn't bring him. She had wanted to show off her nephew to her friends, and felt slighted that we chose not to bring him. It was a complete 180 from what I thought was the issue. Things seemed to be settling down until last week. I was at the grocery store when I bumped into one of Sarah's bridesmaids. She mentioned how she saw the photo Sarah posted of me with the caption, "with the prettiest doll," and thought it was so sweet. I was confused because I never saw that post. When I got home, I checked Sarah's Instagram, and there it was, a different photo from the one my other sister-in-law had posted, with the caption praising me. I realized then that the whole time, Sarah's anger wasn't about the photo I thought it was. She was actually upset about a different photo and caption that I hadn't even seen. The misunderstanding had spiraled out of control because of a photo mix-up. Entitled, 22-year-old stepdaughter refuses to share room with my 12-year-old daughter. Oh boy, she lives to regret it. I was previously married and have a 12-year-old daughter, as does my current husband, who was also previously married and has a 22-year-old daughter. The house we currently live in is a male 2-bedroom house, one for me and my husband, and the other for my 12-year-old daughter. My stepdaughter moved out before I got married to her dad. We are planning on getting a bigger house, but it might not happen until December, so we still have basically a year until then. As I said, my stepdaughter lives on her own and works. Let's call her Dana. Dana recently got fired from her job and was unable to pay rent for her own place. She asked if she could move in with us, and we agreed. However, problems started when she learned that she would have to share a room with her younger sister, who is 12 years old. She said that she can't handle that and wants her own privacy. I told her I understand the complications of the situation, but I can't have my daughter move out of her room. We have an extra fold bed that we open at night in the living room just in case someone sleeps over. She said she could sleep on that bed, but I told her the problem is that she needs her own space. A fold bed in the living room is not a suitable space, especially since we can only open it at night by moving the furniture. Also, her wardrobe and other belongings are more complicated than just a sleeping area. She also had a problem with the fact that my daughter won't remove her clothes from the wardrobe. I told Dana I can get her an extra wardrobe, although it may not be as big as the current one. I'll make sure it is big enough, even if I have to get her 2 of them instead of just 1. She told me my daughter should move her stuff into those wardrobes while she takes the main one. I told her that's not happening because my daughter already has her stuff in there. Overall, she is not compromising at all and making unreasonable demands. Although my husband asked me if we can move the fold bed into our room, I told him we don't have space in the room for the bed to unfold. He then suggested what Dana said, for her to sleep in the living room, and I refused. I told my husband I understand it's a ridiculous situation, but I can't have my daughter's life flipped upside down just because Dana wants privacy. Sharing a room would be as hard on my daughter as it would be for Dana. So, either all of us compromise, or Dana finds another solution, because I find it very selfish that she wants a teenager to change just so she can be comfortable. I'm not differentiating between them, but logically, Dana has the ability to search for other options. She is not forced to share a room, but my daughter will end up being forced to share a room if Dana comes. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You would be the jerk if you don't stand up for your 12-year-old daughter. She absolutely needs her own space and shouldn't be made to feel second to the adult who can't support herself. I strongly suggest that the adult sleeps in the living room until she can find her own space. If the 12-year-old's room is big enough for 2 beds, wardrobes, maybe a partition, then that's fine. But the literal child needs to be a priority. Big red flag that your husband is suggesting a child sleeps in the living room instead of having a bedroom. Literal minimum of parenting is being tested here. Comment 2. Dana isn't in any position to be demanding the entire household change to suit her. She should be grateful she has a place to go and isn't living in her car, not trying to push a minor out of her own bedroom so she can have her privacy. You get that kind of thing in your own home when you pay your own way. She got herself fired, which says a lot about her entitlement, and she can either accept the concessions you're very gracefully making for her or live elsewhere. She's 22. Time to get her crap together. Not the jerk. Now, for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a chaotic couple of weeks since my last post about the living situation with my stepdaughter Dana and my daughter. I know you've all been waiting for an update, so here it is. After my last post, things got even more intense. Dana was adamant about not sharing a room with her younger sister, and my husband was caught in the middle, trying to keep the peace. I was firm on not disrupting my daughter's life, but I also didn't want to turn my back on Dana. Then, out of nowhere, Dana's old boss called. Apparently, Dana had left a big impression at her last job, and they wanted her back. They offered her a new position with a slight pay increase. Dana was over the moon, and so were we. It seemed like the perfect solution to her financial troubles. But the celebration was short-lived. Dana came home from her first day back at work with a shocker. She had met someone. This guy, let's call him Mark, was a co-worker, and they hit it off instantly. Dana was smitten, and within a week, she was spending most nights at his place. We barely saw her at home. Meanwhile, my daughter was going through her own drama. She had been selected for the lead role in the school play, which was a huge deal for her. She needed space to practice and memorize lines, and the tension at home wasn't helping. I was so proud of her, but also worried about how she was handling everything. One evening, Dana came home early from Mark's place, looking upset. She and Mark had a fight, and she needed a place to cool off. My daughter, seeing her sister in distress, offered to share her room for the night. It was a touching gesture, and it seemed to break the ice between them. They stayed up late, talking and bonding in a way they hadn't before. The next day, Dana apologized for being so stubborn. She admitted that she had been unfair to her sister and to us. She also had a surprise. Mark had apologized and asked her to move in with him. Dana was considering it, but she was also scared of moving too fast. My husband and I had a long talk with Dana. We shared stories of our own experiences, the ups and downs of relationships, and the importance of having a safety net. Dana listened, and it felt like she was really taking it all in. In the end, Dana decided to take the leap and move in with Mark. It was a big step, but she felt ready, and we supported her decision. She promised to visit often and to always be there for her sister. As for my daughter, she nailed her performance in the school play. It was a huge success, and she dedicated her performance to her sister, who was in the audience cheering the loudest. Now, the house is quieter, and my daughter has her room back. But there's a new sense of unity in our family. Dana stops by to have dinner with us once a week, and she and my daughter have become closer than ever. I thought I was finally free from my cousin's competitive nature, but she just named her baby the same name as mine. I'm so upset. I, 33-year-old female, have a cousin, 32-year-old female, who has always been in a competition with me. I did not care because this whole idea of let's see who is better is just foreign to me. We applied to the same university, but she did not get in. She ended up going to another university, which she then kept on claiming is better anyway. Again, couldn't care less. I was just happy she is not at the same school, so I don't have to put up with this nonsense anymore. Fast forward to now, we see each other at family gatherings twice a year, we both have jobs and are past the point of comparison, etc. I had a baby boy last year, and we named him a common name, so nothing like a grandfather's name or anything. There are many people called like that. I claim no ownership of that name. Last month, my cousin delivered a baby boy as well. When she and her husband announced she was pregnant, they already knew they are having a boy, but refused to share what name they had picked for him. I made nothing of it. Thought they probably just wanted to feel special and announce the name in a big way, or that maybe they had chosen some made-up name and did not want our family to judge them for it, or try to talk them out of it. I asked her about the name again later, and she said they are not sharing it, and that even her parents don't know. I said okay, and dropped it. Last month she delivered the baby, and surprise, surprise, she named her son the same name my 1-year-old is called. I was shocked at first, and did not understand why they kept the name a secret, and did not tell me. I don't mean ask for my permission, because obviously I do not have copyrights to that name, but at least say, hey, would that bother you? We love the name, just wanted to let you know, etc. That is what I would have done at least. I would have even asked my colleague, or a neighbour, not just a friend or family, if I was about to name my kid the same name they named theirs. My mom thinks I'm overreacting and that there is nothing to it. People can name their kids whatever they like. I agree, and I guess I'm not angry that they chose the same name because that is, in a way, flattering. But that they kept it a secret, and I can't think of any good reason why, other than they knew it wasn't nice and wanted to avoid having to justify their decision or risking me telling them I don't agree and that they should choose another name. I am pissed at my cousin, and now whenever someone is mentioning the name of our sons, I do not know who they are referring to. I refuse to call her son by his name. So far, I only referred to him as the baby or the little one, which I know is awful because the poor kid is not at fault here. But I just can't say the name and not think of my kid. Anyway, I might still be mad about the childhood competition, so my judgment is not clear, so I am here for insight. Am I the jerk for making a big deal out of it? Edit. Addressing the comments. The kids don't have middle names. It is not common from where I am from. They have different last names. I said it is a common name, but not like David, John, James, etc. I meant I did not come up with the name or had to search for it. That said, it is not used often. I myself know one person with the name from my childhood. And by the way, I reached out to him before my son was born and said I wanted to use the name. I realized I am really bothered by the fact they chose the same name, not just by them keeping it a secret. Thank you for helping me see that. I meant I did not care which one of us is better and did not engage in the competition. Not that I didn't care, She was competitive with me. I was very bothered by that, actually. I am not a native speaker, so excuse my storytelling if some of it does not make sense. Thank you all for your replies. It is very helpful. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You're the idiot for making this about you and being a walking contradiction. You say you know you have no claim to this name and it is a common name, etc. Then you say you're pissed at her for using it. Which is it? Is what she did weird? Yes, but you don't get to gatekeep who uses the same name you picked out, and you should call the baby by their given name. Comment 2. You're the idiot. I mean, who cares? I have 2 cousins of nearly the same age with the same name. No, they didn't need to ask permission, and no, I wouldn't even consider checking with someone. Grow up and get over it. Do you want her to ask before painting a room too? Make sure it's not the same color you painted. Now for the update. Hey everyone, it's been a week since I posted about my cousin naming her son the same as mine, and boy, do I have an update for you. So buckle up because things got pretty heated at our latest family gathering. First off, let me give you a bit of context about my cousin and me. Growing up, she always had to one-up me in everything. If I got a new bike, she'd get a fancier one. When I was voted class president, she ran for school president. It was exhausting, but I tried to ignore it and do my own thing. Our parents always compared us, which didn't help, but I thought we were past all that. Guess not. So, back to the present. We had a family dinner last night, and it was the first time everyone was meeting both babies. I was anxious, but decided to be civil for the family's sake. I walked in with my little guy, and there she was, holding her son, and the tension was palpable. Our relatives were cooing over the babies, but you could tell they were confused about the name situation. Halfway through dinner, my aunt, bless her heart, asked my cousin why she chose the same name. My cousin, with a smirk, said it was just a coincidence and that she always loved the name. I couldn't believe she was playing innocent. I stayed quiet, but inside, I was fuming. Then, out of nowhere, my grandma, who's always been the no-nonsense type, called out my cousin. She said, "Sweetheart, we all know you love a good competition, but this is taking it too far." The room went silent. My cousin's face turned red, and she started to defend herself, saying she didn't do it on purpose. But here's the jaw-dropping moment. Her husband, who had been quiet all this time, spoke up. He said he didn't even like the name at first, but my cousin insisted. He looked at me and apologized, saying he didn't know it would cause such a stir. My cousin shot him a look that could unalive. The rest of the evening was awkward, to say the least. But then, something unexpected happened. As we were leaving, my cousin came up to me, alone, and for the first time in what felt like forever, she was genuine. She admitted she did it to get a reaction out of me, and that she was sorry. She said she's been feeling insecure since we both became mothers, and saw how naturally it came to me. I was taken aback. We ended up talking for a while, and I told her how her actions hurt me. It was a real heart-to-heart, and it felt like we finally broke through years of rivalry. We agreed to try and put this behind us for the sake of our sons, who after all are family. So, now we're trying to move forward. I've started referring to her son by his name, and it's getting easier. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Our boys are too young to understand any of this, but I hope by the time they're old enough, they'll just see each other as cousins, not competitors in some silly family game. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.